So let's dive in. I think we all know as small business owners, time is the one thing you can never get more of.
Always running out.
Exactly. And so we wanted to take a look at this article from TravsX.com called 5 AI Marketing Automation Benefits for Small Businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as, everyone says AI, it can sound really complicated. But the idea here is that, as a small business, you can really streamline some things.
For sure.
And potentially, grow smarter, not harder, as they say.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about this article is it kind of takes away the veil of like AI is only for these massive companies.
Oh, right.
This is really something that can be applied to any business no matter how small.
Especially right now. Yeah.
Especially right now, exactly. And so I'm excited to dive in and kind of see, what are some of the things that we can pull out of this that could be immediately actionable for our listeners.
Yeah, and how can they actually use this stuff, as opposed to just being, this idea of like,
right.
Yeah, robots are going to take over.
Exactly. Or it's so complicated, I can't even wrap my head around it.
Exactly right.
So
let's jump in. The first one the article talks about is saving time on repetitive tasks.
Yeah. So this is a big one.
Huge. Yeah.
As a small business owner, you're wearing so many hats.
Always.
And, one of the things you realize is I'm spending, sometimes hours a day on these tasks that are necessary, but don't necessarily move the needle forward in terms of my growth.
Exactly.
So, things like emails, social media follow-ups, these are all things that AI can really start to automate.
Right.
And free up your time to focus on, higher level things.
Yeah. So what are some examples of those kinds of things that it can automate?
So one great example from the article is automatically sending personalized email sequences to new leads.
Okay.
So think about this, right? Every time someone signs up for your email list or you get a new lead,
right.
Instead of you having to go in there and manually write an email, or even if you have a template, having to personalize it.
Yeah, AI can take over that entire process for you.
Interesting.
It can personalize those emails based on the information it has about that lead.
Yeah.
And it can send out a sequence of emails over time, welcoming them to your list,
right,
providing them with valuable information and nurturing them towards becoming a customer.
Wow.
Without you having to do anything.
That's a huge help.
It's a huge time saver.
I know for me personally, like that would free up so much time. I mean, even if it's just, an hour or two a day, like that's an hour or two a day that I could be spending.
Exactly.
Doing something else.
On things that really matter.
Exactly.
So that's one great example.
Okay, cool.
Another one they talk about is automatically posting to social media at optimal times.
Oh, that's a good one.
This is a big one, right?
Yeah.
Because we all know...
You never know when to post.
You never know when to post. And you're constantly like, oh, shit, I got to get something up on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is. AI can analyze your audience data and determine the best times to post for maximum engagement.
Right.
And then it can schedule those posts for you.
Wow.
So you're not constantly having to think about it.
Yeah, that's great.
You can create a bunch of content at once.
Right.
Let the AI schedule it out and then just forget about it.
Yeah.
And focus on other things.
Okay.
Another example is using chat bots or automated email workflows to follow up with leads.
Right.
So again, this is about nurturing those leads.
Yeah.
Answering their questions. Yeah. Providing them with the information they need without you having to be there 204/7 to do it manually.
That's amazing. I mean, so this is really, you're saying it's kind of like having a virtual assistant in a way.
It's exactly like having a virtual assistant.
Who's working all the time.
Oh, yeah?
And never gets tired.
Never gets tired.
Doesn't take breaks.
Doesn't need a vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's awesome.
So yeah, it's a huge time saver, and it really allows you to focus on those higher level tasks that are going to grow your business.
I love it. Yeah. And so you're really saying this isn't just about like being less busy, you know?
Right.
It's really about like actually freeing up time to think, to be more strategic.
To work on your business, not in your business.
Exactly.
So
that's great.
So that's the first big benefit they talk about.
Okay, cool.
Saving time.
So the next one is reducing marketing costs and maximizing ROI.
Yeah, this is a big one, especially for small businesses.
Of course, yeah. Oh. Budgets are tight.
Budgets are tight.
Every dollar counts.
Absolutely.
So, we all know that marketing is essential.
Right.
But, hiring a full marketing team is often just not feasible.
Not an option.
Not an option.
So what this article really highlights is that AI marketing automation can give you those enterprise-level marketing capabilities.
Okay.
But at a fraction of the cost.
Really?
And that's really the game changer here.
Wow. Okay, so how exactly is it doing that?
So one way is through optimized ad targeting and spending. So traditional advertising can be very hit or miss.
Yeah.
You're kind of just throwing things out there and hoping something sticks.
Right.
But AI can actually analyze data. Things like demographics, online behavior, purchase history, and it can really pinpoint who your ideal customers are and what they're interested in.
Yeah.
So that means that your ads are only being shown to people who are actually likely to convert.
That's amazing.
Which means you're wasting less money.
Yeah.
And you're getting a much higher return on your investment.
Yeah.
So really about being smarter with your ad spend.
Right.
Not just spending more.
Exactly.
Another way AI can help reduce costs is by managing email campaigns more efficiently.
Okay.
So think about all the time and effort that goes into segmenting your email lists. Crafting targeted emails, scheduling those emails, tracking the results.
I hate doing that stuff.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
AI can automate a lot of that for you. So you're not having to spend hours and hours doing it manually or, paying someone else to do it for you.
Exactly.
And then the other really important thing is that AI can analyze the performance of your marketing campaigns.
Okay.
And identify what's working and what's not.
Gotcha.
So this allows you to make data-driven decisions about where to allocate your budget.
Yeah.
You can quickly see, okay, this campaign is performing really well. Let's double down on that.
Yeah.
This one is not performing so well. Let's either tweak it or cut it altogether.
That makes total sense.
So you're not wasting money on things that aren't working.
Right. You're constantly optimizing.
Exactly.
That's great.
So yeah, the bottom line here is that AI marketing automation can really help you get the most out of your marketing budget.
Yeah.
And make sure that you're spending your money wisely.
That's awesome.
Especially as a small business.
Exactly.
Where every dollar counts.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about saving time. We've talked about saving money. What's next?
So the next big benefit is delivering personalized customer experiences.
Okay.
At scale.
Now, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Because everybody wants that personal touch.
Right.
But as a small business, you're already wearing so many hats.
You don't have a team of people.
How do you scale that?
Right. Exactly.
How do you actually make that happen?
So AI is really the key here because AI can analyze vast amounts of customer data.
Okay.
Things like their past purchases, their browsing history, their interactions with your brand.
Yeah.
And it can use that data to segment your audience into distinct groups.
Okay.
Based on their shared characteristics and preferences.
Gotcha.
And then once you have those segments in place, AI can help you tailor your marketing messages to each group.
Okay, so what does that look like? What's a real-world example of that?
So one great example is personalized product recommendations.
Okay.
So let's say a customer has previously purchased a certain type of product from you.
Right.
AI can then automatically recommend other products that they might be interested in.
Okay.
Based on their past behavior.
Based on what other people have bought or based on what that individual...
Based on what that individual has done.
Okay.
So, it's really about understanding that individual customer.
Right.
And then showing them things that they're actually likely to be interested in.
Wow. Okay, that's great.
Another example is targeted offers based on past behavior.
Okay.
So, for example, if someone added items to their cart but didn't complete the purchase...
Right.
AI can automatically send them a follow-up email with a discount code.
Oh, that's smart.
Or a reminder
Yeah.
to encourage them to come back and finish their purchase.
We've all gotten those emails.
We've all gotten those emails.
Yeah.
And they work.
They do work. Yeah.
So that's another great example.
Okay, cool.
And then you can also do things like dynamic email content.
What's that?
So this is where the content of the email actually changes.
Wow.
Based on who's receiving it. So let's say you have an email promoting a new product.
Okay.
AI can actually show different regions of that email.
Wow.
To different people.
Based on what?
Based on their past behavior, their interests, their demographics.
So it's like really tailoring the message.
Exactly. It's tailoring the message to that individual.
That person, yeah.
So that they're more likely to engage with it.
Okay, that's really cool.
And ultimately convert.
Yeah. So it's really about making people feel seen.
Making people feel seen, making people feel understood and valued.
Exactly.
Which is so important in today's world.
Yeah, it is.
Where people are bombarded with so much marketing noise.
Yeah.
They want to feel like they're interacting with a brand that gets them.
Right.
That understands their needs.
Yeah, that's not just sending out generic blasts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the real power of AI personalization.
I love it. Okay, so that's number 3.
That's number 3.
Number 4 is gaining data-driven insights for smarter decisions.
Yes. So we all know that data is important.
Right.
But as a small business owner, you often don't have the time or the resources to really dig into the data and figure out what it's telling you.
Exactly.
And that's where AI can be a huge help, because AI can analyze all of that data for you.
Okay.
And then it can present you with those insights in a way that's easy to understand and act on.
So, like, what are some examples of the kinds of insights that AI can provide?
So one example is identifying which products are most popular with your customers.
Okay.
So you know which products are selling well, which ones are not.
So you know where to focus.
Exactly. You know where to focus your marketing efforts.
Okay, cool.
You know which products to stock up on.
That makes sense.
Which ones to maybe phase out.
Yeah.
Another example is understanding the optimal time and channel to reach different customer segments.
Okay, so that's like saying...
So is this segment more responsive to email?
Right.
Is this segment more responsive to social media?
Okay.
Should I be sending emails in the morning or the evening?
That's a great point.
You know, these are all things that AI can help you figure out.
That's great.
And then the other really important thing is that AI can track the performance of your marketing campaigns.
Okay.
And tell you which ones are generating the most revenue.
Gotcha.
So again, you know what's working, what's not.
Yeah.
Where should you be focusing your efforts?
Right, so you can double down on what's working.
Exactly.
And cut what's not.
Or tweak it.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
So yeah, the key here is that AI can really help you make smarter decisions about your marketing.
Right.
Based on data, not just guesswork.
Yeah, I love that.
So.
Okay, and the last one, the fifth benefit that the article talks about is scaling faster with less effort.
Yes. So this is about growth.
Right.
Which is ultimately what every business wants.
Of course, yeah.
But growth can be challenging.
Absolutely.
Especially for a small business.
Yeah.
You know, you might need to hire more staff.
Right.
You might need to invest in new infrastructure.
Yeah.
And it can just be a lot to manage.
It can be overwhelming.
It can be very overwhelming.
So how does AI help with that?
So AI can help by automating a lot of the tasks that would normally require human intervention.
Okay.
So, for example, as your customer base grows,
right,
you're going to get more customer inquiries.
More support emails.
More support emails, more questions on social media.
Yeah.
AI-powered chatbots can handle a lot of those inquiries automatically.
Okay.
So your team doesn't have to.
Wow.
And that frees up your team to focus on more complex issues.
That's amazing.
Or, more strategic tasks.
Right.
AI can also help you manage larger email and advertising campaigns.
Okay.
So as you grow, you're going to want to reach more people.
Yeah.
You're going to want to send out more emails. You're going to want to run more ads.
Right.
AI can help you automate a lot of the processes involved in those campaigns.
So that you're not manually.
Because you're not manually doing everything.
Right.
And then the other really important thing is that AI can help you maintain a personalized experience.
Yeah.
Even as you scale.
Right. Because that's the thing that's hard to scale is that personal touch.
You don't want to lose that personal touch.
Right.
As you grow.
Exactly.
But AI can actually help you scale that personalization.
Okay.
Because it can analyze all of that customer data.
Right.
And it can use that data to personalize the experience for each individual customer.
No, that's great. So it's really about making sure that you're not just growing for the sake of growing.
Right.
You're growing in a way that's sustainable.
Sustainable.
And that maintains that connection with your customers.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Cool.
So this has been a really great conversation. I feel like I've learned a lot about AI marketing automation.
You too.
And, I'm really excited to kind of see how I can start implementing some of these things in my own business.
Yeah, me too.
So just to kind of recap, the 5 benefits we talked about are saving time, reducing costs, personalizing experiences, gaining insights, and scaling efficiently. And I think the key takeaway here is that, AI marketing automation is no longer just for big businesses.
It's for everyone.
It's for everyone.
And it's especially valuable for small businesses.
Right.
Who are, always looking for ways to do more with less.
Exactly.
And be more efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you're listening to this, I hope that you're thinking about which of these benefits could have the biggest impact on your business.
Yeah.
And, maybe start brainstorming some ways that you could start using AI.
Absolutely.
To, streamline your marketing and really grow your business.
And maybe take some of that time back.
Yeah.
And invest it in other areas of your business or even your personal life.
Exactly. Yeah. I love it.
Yep.
So that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll catch you next time.
See you later.
Bye.